Chapter 9, My Brother, an Abusive Man. I start Chapter 9 with the following observations. My brother was the classic example of an abused person, or at least someone who is the product of an abusive home, who in turn becomes an abuser. Unfortunately, the object of his abuse was my mother. I do not know when this first started, but it was in full bloom by the time I came back to Albany to finish law school. By that time, my father had mellowed a bit and was no longer engaged in violent arguments with my mother while we were present. That's not to say that it did not still happen, but at least it was less frequent and never while we were visiting, and gratefully, never in the presence of my children. Far too often, my brother would gradually become intoxicated and then would find something that my mother did or said to justify denigrating her with such hurtful and insulting comments that it would ruin dinner for everyone and reduce my mother to tears. The trigger for these attacks could be the most trivial transgression on the part of my mother. Once my brother's ire was aroused, the abuse would start out as a trickle and then quickly denigrate into a well-honed verbal attack on my mother. My mother might innocently ask him if he was seeing someone, and before she could finish her sentence, he would get agitated, and we were off and running with an indictment of my mother's lack of skill as a parent.